WTVT, Tampa, St. Petersburg.
You are looking live at sold-out Giant Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. The weather in the East today is beautiful. From Philadelphia, it will be Washington against the Philadelphia Eagles. Both those teams are 4-1. Meanwhile, here, the amazing unbeaten Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to try to make it 6-0 against a New York team, which will start rookie passer Phil Simms in an attempt to get victory number 1. Now live from sold-out Fulton County Stadium in Atlanta, where the Falcons will try to end a 3-game losing streak against Bart Starr's Packers, who last Monday suddenly looked like Green Bay of old under Bart Starr. And live from Rich Stadium in Orchard Park, New York, where the Chicago Bears must go with Bob Avellini at quarterback in place of Vince Evans against the new threat in the AFC East, the talented Buffalo Bills. And also live from sold-out Schaefer Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts, where Monty Clark's struggling Detroit Lions take on the explosive New England Patriots in a game neither team can afford to lose.
Hi, my buddy Jimmy the Greek is on the injured reserve list today, so I'm going to tell you who's going to win all the NFL games and the World Series. But don't run to your phone, because a year ago I said it would be the Phillies.
NFL Today is sponsored by the Dean Winter Reynolds Investment Firm with more than 240 offices worldwide. Aladdin Stanley Thermos Bottles, the tough ones. And by AC Delco, quality automotive parts for quality motoring. AC Delco. From the CBS Sports Control in New York, here's Brent Musburger.
Good afternoon, everybody, and for those of you watching in Honolulu, where it is now 6:30, a very good morning. Jimmy the Greek on the injured reserve list. As Pete Rose pointed out, he suffered injuries in a motorbike accident. Would you believe it? But I spoke to the Greek this morning. He is feeling much better at home in Durham, North Carolina, but he mailed in his picks, and we're going to have more on that later. First of all, last night in college football, let's get you up to date. Texas over Rice, 26-9, and Houston fumbled 6 times and hung on to beat Baylor 13-10. LSU, a couple of fourth-quarter touchdowns, defeated Florida 20-3, and Arkansas remained unbeaten, beating TCU by 3 points. Meanwhile, Texas Tech just shaded A&M 21-20, and the Green Wave, Tulane, is coming back 42-14. And, of course, baseball is on everyone's mind. It is going to be the Pittsburgh Pirates against the Baltimore Orioles in the World Series. That will start Tuesday night in Baltimore. We have just received word Bruce Keeson is going to be the starting pitcher for the Pirates. Pete, are you surprised about that?
Not really, Brent, because he was our most effective pitcher in the month of September, and he did not get to see any action during the playoffs. So Bruce is a fine choice.
Let's take a look at some of the action from the Baltimore, California series. Doug DeCinces at third base made a great stop for him yesterday, didn't he?
Well, bases loaded and 1 out on this play right here, and there's a ball that would have been a double, probably 3 runs, and he was playing shallow because I guess he's going to go to home with it, and he just tugged the base right there and made a great throw to first base. Plenty of time for double play. Here's another double play by the Baltimore Orioles. Defense is the pitcher's biggest weapon, as you know, and they turn the double play as well as any team in baseball.
And, of course, on the offense for the Orioles, their 3 and 4 men, Singleton and Murray, can turn around and hit you from either side.
Well, here's a double by Singleton in the 8th inning of yesterday's ball game, and he started out the series 1 for 8, but he come back with 5 out of the last 7. There's a single to center field by Murray, who knocked in 7 runs. There's a 3-run homer off of Mark Clear in Game 2 that put him into a 9-1 lead, which looked good until Baltimore got rolling.
Now, following Bruce Keeson on the mound for the Pittsburgh Pirates, they're going to start Bert Blyleven. We're going to show you some tape of Blyleven in action against Cincinnati. What are his weapons?
Well, he's got the best curveball in the National League, and he's a lot like Steve Rogers. He's got a sinking fastball, hard fastball, and a good curveball. Really a hard curveball. It just drops off the table. It's probably the best curveball in baseball. This is a fastball here to Foster. He just blew him right away. You get George Foster on that pitch, you got something.
Now here's that curveball.
That's the curveball to end the game right there. No one can hit that. I couldn't even hit that one.
Here's the
There's
big guy.
Parker, the base hit off of Doug Bear to left field to go ahead and run Marino, who can run like the wind, just scored easy right there. There's a 3-run homer off of Tom Hume in Game 1. The score was 2-2 at that time. That put the Pirates ahead 5-2. That was the final score.
This is the only old guy better than you are, Mr. Rose. Willie Stargell.
There's a double down the right field line with 2 men on. 2 more RBIs for Willie Stargell, who was the MVP in the playoff series.
I am really surprised that Tanner is not going to open up with Candelaria against Parker and Stargell, Pete.
Well, I think they'll save Candy for
What am I thinking of? I mean, Flanagan, he hasn't named his pitcher at Baltimore.
I think it'll be Flanagan.
You think they will go with
because,
Flanagan?
I really like the Pirates, but I think the Orioles have a great shot because of Flanagan and McGregor. Left-hand pitchers give the Pirates a lot of trouble, and those are 2 of the best in all baseball. Plus, they have Tippy Martinez, who's the left-hander in the bullpen.
Okay, there was one controversial play I want to ask you about. Collins in right field for Cincinnati.
He made a great catch, but Frank Poole was the umpire, and he called it the way he saw it, and it was a wrong call, as we'll see on the replay here. But what can you do about it? It's his call. The ball's in right center, and most outfielders won't get up and run in there if they don't think they caught the ball. It was just a missed call, but I'm sure that the replays will show that the umpires are right most of the time. See, he caught it behind him, and you can see a lot of white on the ball right here. See, he thought he trapped it right there. That's why he called him safe. And he can't ask for help from the first base umpire because he's going to right center. It's his call.
Now, if you don't do well as a handicapper today, when we get down to that Greek segment, Peter, I'll tell you, we're going to hire Mr. Candelaria. Did you see him during the National League playoffs? Did you see the cap he was wearing?
He picked the Baltimore Orioles, right. That's him. He's crazy. That's why he's a good pitcher. He's a crazy guy.
Well, again, it is going to be Bruce Keeson for Pittsburgh in the opener, and so far we have not heard from Earl Weaver, whether it will be the left-hander Flanagan, that's who Rose thinks he'll open up with, or the right-hander Jim Palmer. If it is not, of course, Palmer will go in Game 2. And the NFL today will continue on CBS in just a moment. Before we check in with Hank Stram at Giants Stadium, one of the big games many of you are going to be watching, Washington and Philadelphia. Both those teams 4-1. Philadelphia, of course, has to be alive in anticipation of this one.
Alive. It's like going into a playoff game. It's electric down there. It's a lot of excitement. The team's looking forward to it. It's going to be a great game. Okay, Coach Stram, you're out there in the Meadowlands right now to cover the Tampa Bay game with the New York Giants. The Bucs are 5-0. How good are they?
Well, I think they're a very good football team, Irv. I think they've earned the right to be regarded as a good football team the way they played this early in the season. I saw them in preseason, did all of their preseason games. It was very impressed, especially with their defense, and they're improving tremendously on offense.
Coach, thanks a lot. Have a good day.
All right, thank you, Irv.
Irv and Pete and Jane, take a look at this sport coat that Lindsey Nelson is wearing today. Lindsey, that's got to be the leftovers from all your other coats, right?
All put together by a very good tailor.
Now, the Green Bay Packers in Atlanta. Green Bay for real, Lindsey? Are they back?
Well, they hope they're back. They played their best game on Monday night, and, of course, the Falcons are trying to snap out of a 3-game losing streak. The question is, can Green Bay stay up there, or will they be flat after the great performance on Monday night?
All right, Lindsey, thank you very much. Enjoy the afternoon in Atlanta. And, Irv, what we got up in Buffalo?
Tim Ryan standing by with the Buffalo Bills and Chicago Bears are going to battle. And Tim, of course, the big story in Chicago all year long has been their quarterback position. What's your status today?
Well, Joe Ferguson, of course, is the leading quarterback in the entire National Football League, the top-rated quarterback. He's just been doing an outstanding job. He's got 10 touchdown passes to his credit already. The Chicago Bears, on the other hand, Irv, have got quarterback problems. Vince Evans came down with a staph infection in his lower back. Bob Avellini will be the starter today. It may have been that way anyway, following the Bears' third straight defeat last week. Avellini might have gotten the call to start today, but that question became moot when Evans went down with a rather serious staph infection in his back, and he's going to be gone for a while. So Avellini gets a chance to regain his starting spot today. The Bears, in a must-win situation, they're trying to get to 500. The surprising Bills are chasing the Miami Dolphins.
Thanks very much, Tim.
All right, we've got Dick Stockton standing by New England. There's a city that's tough on quarterbacks. Boston, what's the reaction now to Steve Grogan, Dick?
Well, Brent, I'll tell you that in this city, this has got to be the toughest sports city, and every time the Patriots lose, they blame Steve Grogan, despite the fact he has 10 touchdown passes and adds that other dimension. They blame Grogan for everything, and I tell you what, if things get really tough, maybe they can go to Boston Garden and watch Larry Bird and the Celtics. That won't be bad either.
Is Bird going to be that good? Give me a little NBA insight.
I think so. I think that Larry Bird is looked upon perhaps as the best player the Celtics have had since Dave Cowens, and they're all lined up for tickets for Celtics games, believe me.
All right, Dick, have a good afternoon. Detroit and New England, his game. And Jane, you've got part 2 on Pete Gent's controversial novel, North Dallas 40.
That's right, the final episode. The film is definitely a highly debated topic, not only with those who saw it, but with those who lived it. A couple of Pete Gent's former teammates, Lance Rensel and Don Perkins, feel it offers a distorted view of what life was really like in the 60s with the Dallas Cowboys. For 8 seasons, Don Perkins, number 43, was a steady, team-oriented player for Dallas. Lance Rensel, number 19, was the prototype of the lean, graceful flanker with sure hands that could pluck passes out of the air.
There was a flaw in the movie and in the book that it presented a negative view that I don't really think is in the real proper perspective. Basically, I feel that perhaps Pete left the game a little bitter and it affected his writing a little bit, therefore affected the outcome of the movie.
Frankly, I was bored with the film. I watched the entire thing, but after a very few minutes, I didn't relate to it at all. It was not football. It was not any kind of a game or personalities that I could ever relate to.
People say, well, pro football is dehumanizing because it's a business, as if there's anything else it should be. We all have this notion of sport that it's our last refuge from our own insanity, so to speak. That's how at least it once was viewed. And we don't want to think that pro football is tainted, but it is. It is a business. But in my opinion, so what? I mean, that's the way it should be run, and I think by and large it's a very well-run business, and the pro athlete today has a pretty good life.
I think for the most part, what I really feel is that it lacked a lot of the humanistic kinds of feelings that the players and coaches, in my opinion, had or have, and I think in the movie they came off as certain kinds of bizarre animals, totally void of feeling, and I had trouble relating to that, especially Landry, and I have no reason to defend Tom one way or the other, but Tom is a very fair guy, he's a very warm guy, and in the movie he comes across as stone, totally without feeling, and I just couldn't see it.
Back in the huddle. The doctor will look after him. You get back in that huddle right now or off the field.
When I look back upon my years with the Cowboys, I have very fond memories and value very highly my relationships with Clint Murkison, Tex Ram, and Tom Landry. They were very, very good to me. They were very fair to me, and at a time when I needed them, they supported me. And that's all you can ask from an organization. And I look back upon my years with the Cowboys as the happiest years of my career, and in my mind, they will always be my team.
I guess I'm surprised at Rensel's reaction to the movie.
I was too. I was really, literally shocked. But I think it comes from, he said that since he's writing a screenplay, he's had an awful lot of time to really evaluate what, playing football is all about. And so now with this movie coming out, North Dallas 40, he can really honestly say what he really believes.
Aren't you in something tonight on CBS? Trapper John?
Trapper John MD, a CBS hit, definitely.
That's our only hit, right? We need more. The NFL Today will continue on CBS in just a moment. Irv, I suppose last week the Eagles finally believed they'd turned the corner.
I think maybe they have, Brent. When the Eagles beat the defending Super Bowl champion Pittsburgh Steelers last Sunday, they just may have symbolically turned the corner of a 4-year reconstruction program under Coach Dick Vermeil. It now finally seems that you can no longer say, same old Eagles. Philadelphia is no longer a city associated with losing professional football. The Eagles, along with the Dallas Cowboys and today's opponent, the Washington Redskins, sport 4-1 records, best in the NFC East. Philadelphia's key to success thus far has been their defense, an attack that ranks among the leaders in quarterback sacks and fewest points allowed. Last Sunday, they thoroughly controlled Terry Bradshaw and his defending world champion Pittsburgh Steelers to register a 17-14 upset. Eagle defenders collected 4 turnovers, 2 in game-saving fashion, and 1 interception by linebacker John Bunting, number 95, set up the winning touchdown. Certainly, this victory was more than just another mark in the win column.
We want to play over our heads every week. We have a very spunky team, a very enthusiastic team. And when we play with the type of consistency and intensity and high concentration level that we played with this past week, we can play with the best.
The Eagles can play with the best because of head coach Dick Vermeil. Always driving towards perfection, Vermeil's guidance has turned a once floundering program completely around. Their trademark has become near air-free football and precise execution. It is not unusual to see flawless play fakes lure unsuspecting defenders away from passer Ron Jaworski so he can hit talented wide receiver Harold Carmichael. Once, it was said hard work was the only reason the Eagles ever won because there was little talent. But those days are over.
You don't win in this league unless you have some good football players. And we have players that weren't supposed to be as good as they are, but they're good football players. The Carl Harrisons, the Frank LeMasters, the John Bunnings, the Stan Walters, all our players, the Sizemores, the Krefleys, and the Jaworskis, and of course the Wilbert Montgomerys and the Carmichael. These guys are good football players, and football players win games, coaches don't. When in the National Football League, you win one, you lose one, it's in the past on Monday, and all of a sudden it's a new week. You have no time to really enjoy it. You have to get ready to play again on Sunday, and if you don't win the following Sunday, then you're not a good football team anymore. And it's all dependent on the performance each Sunday.
You like the Eagles today, Irv?
I do, but I tell you, the Redskins and the Eagles match up very well. Lamar Parrish in the left corner and Joe Lavender on the right corner, or the other way around, right corner and left corner, could give the Eagle passing game a lot of trouble.
You hedge more than the Greek. You know, one thing about the Washington Redskins, I stand second to no one in my respect for a man named George Allen. I still think he should be coaching someplace in the NFL. But Jack Pardee has done an incredible job turning that team around as quickly as he has. Now, for the last couple of years, it's been the Yankees and Dodgers in the World Series. This year's teams, Pittsburgh and Baltimore, provide a contrast in both their style of play and the cities that they're from. Jack Whitaker was here a little bit earlier to examine those differences.
It's hard to realize that the NFL season moves into its 6th week today. In other times, the 6th game was the start of the second half of the season. But that was back in the times when the Pope could not visit the White House and there was no prevent defense. So much has happened this past week that there's an air of turbulence in the sports scene. And before we get swamped in football and, God save the mark, professional basketball, which begins this week, a word about baseball. The playoffs have produced the 2 best teams, and the World Series should be one of the more brilliant ones in recent years. Pittsburgh and Baltimore are quite different from the past 2 years of Los Angeles and New York. Those were 2 of the largest cities in this country, Tinseltown and the Big Apple, loaded with glamour and highly publicized ball players. Pittsburgh and Baltimore are working towns. Not that people don't work in New York and Los Angeles, but in Baltimore and Pittsburgh, they work long and hard, and their ball clubs are very special to them. This series will have a different look about it, new faces and new personalities. Free agents did not build these clubs, and both of them carry the team concept further than most. Earl Weaver has a quiet club with the best record in baseball. The Pirates, with the most unfortunate uniforms in all of sport, have the best spirit of any team in all of sport. Baltimore and Pittsburgh. It'll be the Allegheny Airlines series.
Jimmy the Greek is sponsored by Muriel Coronellas and Air Tips. Join the Muriel Admiration Society.
But instead of Jimmy the Greek, we're going to have to go with Peter the Irishman today because my man the Greek decided to take up motorcycle riding this week. And would you believe what happened to him? Well, look at how he was going there, folks. Huh? Is that Evel Knievel or what? Right in there. Well, unfortunately, folks, after he learned how to start it, he forgot to ask how to stop it, and he suffered some injuries. He's coming along fine. We'll have him next week. All right, up to you now, Rose. Chicago in Buffalo.
Can the Bills stop Walter Payton? If they can, they'll have a good shot.
All right, now remember, all these check marks belong to the Greek. And Peter, you agree with the Greek on that game, right?
I'm gonna pick Chicago in that one.
You're going to go against the Greek.
I don't think you can stop.
You're going with Chicago. All right, here we go. Now, Detroit and New England.
New England lost Monday night, and Grogan to Francis. This is the best bet of the day right here. New England.
Right here?
They're
Okay.
going to blow them out.
All right, Green Bay and Atlanta now. The talented Packers look good Monday night.
Good. Atlanta's never lost 4 in a row under Lehman Bennett, and they're going to be tough at home. They're always tough at home.
Agree with the Greek right there. Okay, now we got Washington, Philadelphia, the big one in Philly.
I'm a Philadelphia fan now. I picked the Eagles over the Washington
You think the Eagles are going to win, huh?
They got to contain Theismann, though. Keep him in the pocket.
All right, that's tough to do. He can move. Now we got Tampa Bay against the Giants. How about those Buccaneers?
They're for real, and they're going to win today.
They're going to win easy over the Giants?
It's the first time they've ever been favored on the road in the history of the franchise.
Where'd you get all that stuff? You're pretty good.
I follow football pretty good. Tampa Bay will win today.
All right, now the rest of the schedule. You agree with that? Kansas City over Cincinnati?
I think so. The Bengals are 0-5 and just playing as bad as they can play.
All right, slightly favored, Peter. How about Los Angeles, Pittsburgh, the Jets, San Diego, and Oakland?
I agree with every one of those.
All right.
You sure this is not my list? This is Jimmy's list?
The favored category, Houston, Dallas, and Seattle.
Well, St. Louis got shut out last week, and Houston's tough in the Astrodome. Dallas is always tough. Minnesota's not scoring many points. And Seattle and Frisco, I'm going to take San Francisco in that one.
Sound good. We'll be back with the Irishman's Grapevine in just a moment. All right, time now for the Irishman's Grapevine. Who's going to manage the Philadelphia Phillies next year?
I think Dallas Green will be the manager because he won 19 out of the last 30 when he come down out of the front office to manage the last month of the season. I think if he wants the managerial job, I think he can get it. But there's some talk that he wants to stay in the front office. So if Dallas wants the job, I think it's his.
The Greek has been touting you. Would you like to manage?
About 1983.
83, right? When you retire, write it down. All right. There was one big upset in college football that I want to show you yesterday. The Big Ten, you know, has come back with the forward pass. One of the teams coming around did not resort to the pass yesterday. The Golden Gophers, punting right here to Purdue, fumbled by the Boilers. Tom Murphy of Minnesota recovers in the end zone. 17-7 Minnesota over Purdue. Now watch Gary White find daylight to the left. He got down to the Boilermakers' 1-yard line. And here comes Marion Barber. He's a load. 1 yard for the touchdown. It's 24-14 Minnesota, fourth quarter. Mark Herman, talented young passing quarterback, but not well thrown this time. Freshman cornerback Glenn Cardelli picks it off, returns it 27 yards to the Purdue 30. A little bit later, Barber scored his third touchdown of the afternoon. Minnesota won at 31-14. And our NFL Today top 5 looks like this. We've still got the Trojans up on top. They took care of Washington State yesterday. Alabama, Oklahoma, watch out for Washington. They are loaded this year. And we tie Houston and Nebraska for 5th. I don't know why we didn't rank Ohio State up there. They beat a very tough Northwestern team, had a lot of trouble with them. Now, next Sunday on the NFL Today, we're going to show you who's going to win the Heisman Trophy. Irv Cross is on the committee. He's going to open up the envelope. And we'll see you at halftime. Hey, if we've got some time, let's show some Trapper John at halftime. All right, Jane?
That sounds like a good idea.
All right, Jane and Irv, Peter the Irishman over there. I'm Brent Musburger. Remember now, write down Rose's picks and see how he does. We'll see you at halftime. Enjoy the NFL Today on CBS.
Stay tuned as the NFL Today continues after this word from your local station. Tonight, join Pernell Roberts and Gregory Harrison as a pair of MASH veterans saving lives in a San Francisco hospital on Trapper John, M.D., tonight at 10, 9 Central and Mountain on CBS.
And all those kind of things have to occur, but they are an excellent football team, and they can go as far as they want to go.
And we may see a little history today. Phil Simms is starting. He may be the quarterback for the next 10 years for the Giants.
I saw him against New Orleans, liked his feet, liked his hands, and he's got a very good arm along with it.
We'll watch him, Phil Simms, number 11, and let's go down on the field now as we get ready for the opening kickoff. The Giants will be in the blue, dark jerseys, Tampa Bay in white, trimmed in orange. They're going to receive. Getting overcast here and darker. A slight breeze, crosswind, favoring neither team. Joe Danello will be kicking off for the Giants. And deep will be Ragsdale for Tampa Bay. George Ragsdale. That's the man they want to have the ball. Let's see what Danello does. And here we go. And the kick's high. It's deep. Ragsdale floating in the end zone. And he'll down it for the touchback. Good kickoff by Danello. Tampa Bay on offense features young Doug Williams at quarterback. Rookie Jerry Eckwood, a sensation so far, with Ricky Bell, the running backs. Isaac Higgins and Morris Owens are the wide receivers, and the tight end is Jimmy Giles. And this club leads the National Conference in rushing. There's the line. Revis, Horton, Wilson, Roberts, and Hanna. And the Giants are down in a three-man line. A little surprise here at the opening. Ricky Bell hammered down to the 19-yard line by Dan Lloyd. It'll be second down, 11 to go.
That
Giants ball their own 19.
That time, Kurt, they were in a formation that they don't use a lot. They had the fullback behind the quarterback and the halfback to the right with the idea of running to the right and getting a little bit more punch and power straight ahead with Ricky Bell. They didn't succeed in doing a good job in making any yardage, however, on the play.
Mendenhall did not start. He has back spasms. Kelvin Miller's in there. Second down, 11 for Tampa Bay. Just short of their own 20. Eckwood. Now he runs into a roused defense. Carson led that charge. Brad Van Pelt, Harry Carson, Brian Kelly are the linebackers, the strongest portion of the Giant club. Jackson and Rhodes the corners. Reese and McKinney are the safety men.
The Giants usually employ a 4-3 defense, meaning 4 linemen, 3 linebackers, and 4 defensive backs. They started this game with a 3-4-4, which is unusual for them, and it looks like it's creating a little problem in the first 2 plays of this game against for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Martin, Kelvin Miller, and Jeter, the down line. Tabor goes in for the 4-man rush. Third and 11. Doug Williams throws the bomb, and it is tucked away. A great save there by Terry Jackson, intended for Morris Owens, who had a step on him. And Jackson just ticked it away. Number 24.
Terry Jackson really did a good job of covering on the play. He was running downfield step for step, and he didn't look back at the quarterback, which is so important. And right about the time the receiver was ready to reach for the ball, he saw it, reached up into the air and knocked it down. A great play by Terry Jackson.
Tom Blanchard is in punt formation. Dwight Scales and Terry Jackson. Double safety for the Giants. Blanchard, a wobbly kick. Scales waits for it. 48, 50. He's to the 45 and a flag goes down. Scales on a 7-yard return. Giants ball, and we'll see what the flag's about. Danny Reese made the tackle, with Nafziger also in there with him. This one's going to be marked off against the Giants, probably a clip. Goes back to the Giants, 36.
Personal foul, clipping, number 22 on the run back. First down.
That's called on Ray Rhodes, a clip. Giants ball, their own 36-yard line. Aaron Brown has replaced Dewey Selman as a starter inside linebacker on defense. And here's the rookie, Phil Simms from Morehead State. Looking clubbed down. You'll remember this game, his first start in the National Football League. Play action pass. Out it goes. It's complete to the 40. And out of bounds is Ken Johnson. Rolled out by Leroy Selman. And they really got to Simms on that first play.
Kurt, that was a play-action pass from the I formation. A good fake, good setup by Simms, the young rookie quarterback from Morehead State. Throws the ball into the right flat to Ken Johnson, who makes a nice reception. And the Giants are moving on the very first play.
Now penalty coming up. This may be a hit out of bounds.
Number 57 defense, unnecessary roughness, first down.
That's called on the left outside linebacker, David Lewis. Unnecessary roughness after the receiver Johnson went out of bounds. So the Giants have the ball now on the Tampa Bay 41-yard line. First down. Running backs are Billy Taylor and Ken Johnson. Inside the 40 and to the 36-yard line is Ken Johnson. The Giants' strategy today against the 3-4 of Tampa Bay will be trying to run inside the tackles.
Well, I think any time that you play against a 3-4, you really have to do a good job of running at the two linebackers inside who are playing off the ball. In conjunction with that, the way the Tampa team plays, you have to exercise good discipline and a lot of patience. You got to travel slowly and use high percentage plays, run-wise and also passing-wise.
I just took a look at the Giant offensive lineup. Second down 5. Now they call a timeout. The rookie came up to the line of scrimmage with a mix-up. So he wants to be sure they know what they're doing. And Simms goes to the sideline. With the score, Tampa Bay nothing, and the New York Giants nothing. Those three defensive linemen in Tampa Bay were all #1 picks. Great linebackers. Lewis, Aaron Brown, Wood, Johnson. Big secondary, not very fast, but big and hard hitter. White, Washington, Cotney, and Brown. Second down 5. Giants ball, Tampa Bay 36. Billy Taylor is hit by Leroy Selman. And number 63, fans, you're looking at maybe the best defensive end in professional football.
I don't think there's any question about the fact that he is and earned the right to be one of the very finest defensive ends in the National Football League.
This telecast presented by authority of the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Giants and the National Football League is prohibited. 3rd and 5 for the Giants on the Tampa Bay 36. Prince Valiant, they call Phil Simms. Look at him. He looks like about 18 years old. He's got a rush on him. Throws the ball to Billy Taylor. Taylor's clawing his way, trying to get that first down. Cecil Johnson hopped on him, the right outside linebacker. And the officials are calling time. Let's see if we get a measurement.
They've got a very intelligent plan for the game. They're going to throw to the backs, let the linebackers get good depth. The defensive backs get good depth. They try to throw in front of the linebackers. Chambers almost knocked the ball on that time. But the ball was caught by Johnson, and he's very close to making the first down, but a very high percentage play that was employed by the New York Giants.
They have it by inches. Giants second first down. They're on the Tampa Bay 31-yard line. We have no score, 11:36 remaining in the first period.
You know, Kurt, the Tampa team plays a very loose zone defense. They give you stuff inside and short, but it's very difficult to do anything big against this Tampa defense the way they play.
Johnny Perkins spread to the right, Ernest Gray to the left. First down, Giants. And hitting straight ahead is Ken Johnson. That's the strategy, knifing inside the tackles. Bill Kohler, the nose tackle, Montana State graduate, #1 pick for the Bengals. They let him go. He's now with Tampa Bay, and they like him there. He's very quick in the middle of that three-man line.
Yes, and the great thing about him was, really, he was a #1 draft choice for the Cincinnati Bengals, and they were able to get him, and he's doing a good job as a starter for the Tampa team.
Cincinnati's had a lot of #1 picks and have left the club. Second down 8. now Phil Simms is calling another timeout. Now, we'll talk about this when we come back. Giants have already used 2 timeouts early in the game. No score. 10.5 minutes to play in the first period. The Giants have already utilized 2 timeouts. Indecision, and young Simms wisely took the time rather than bungle the play. Carrying the ball is Johnson with a flag down, a fumble, and a scramble. Ken Johnson received the handoff. He plowed inside the 25, but a flag is down. Cecil Johnson, the right linebacker, made the stop. All right, what's happening there with these 2 timeouts, Hank?
Well, what happened actually is that they're
illegal motion, offense, refused, Tampa Bay's ball, first down.
They're sending the plays in with hand signals from the sideline, and sometimes if the quarterback has a problem reading those signals, why, he's very wise to call timeout, not to blow the play, but to make sure that the signal is straight, and that's what happened on the 2 penalties that were incurred by the New York Giants, because evidently the young quarterback didn't get the hand signals properly.
Giants fumbled. Wally Chambers recovered. Our first turnover. Tampa Bay's ball. They were stopped on their first series. They have the ball on their own 24-yard line. Doug Williams of Grambling College. He can throw the ball 60 or 70 yards. And that is Jerry Eckwood, the rookie of Arkansas, who has had 2 100-yard games already. And he's stopped by Harry Carson, the middle linebacker. Morris Owens comes out. Rookie Gordon Jones of Pittsburgh is in. McKay uses his wide receivers to bring the plays in.
Eckwood is playing with an injured left wrist, and it might be a problem as this game goes along, trying to keep hold of the football or catch passes.
Second down 8. Tampa Bay on their own 26. Gary Eckwood brought down by George Martin, the left end, and the Giant defense is giving up ground grudgingly. So now, spotted on the 30 of Tampa Bay, and they're faced with a 3rd and 4. And Morris Owens, number 85, brings the play in from the Tampa Bay bench. No score. First period, 9:28 to go.
One thing I'm sure we can look for as the game progresses, I'm sure they're going to work on Rhodes and also the cornerback Jackson, and I think Jimmy Giles will have a chance to work on the strong safety when they have good field position.
3rd and 4. Deep drop back. The pass is complete, and they're short of a first down. They hit the tight end, Giles, 88, from Elkhorn State. Didn't get deep enough. Well, I think he did. Now they say he fell forward. And it will be a Tampa Bay first down. He just got there.
Yeah, that's all that counts. And really, Jimmy Giles is a very unheralded tight end at this stage of his young career. He's an excellent football player, great blocker, but a terrific catcher, too. And I'm sure they're going to use him a lot in this game today to take advantage of what the way the safety plays, Beasley Reese, number 28.
Williams has hit only 38% of his passes, but he's tied with Roger Staubach for touchdown passes with 8. Tampa Bay goes for the big play. They're running Eckwood. Eckwood filled at the 35 by Brad Van Pelt. Number 10, the left linebacker. That's no gain. It'll be 2nd and 10 for Tampa Bay.
That was a wasted play, really, because Beasley Reese, the strong safety, was almost on the line of scrimmage. There's no way in the world that you can run outside with him that close to the line of scrimmage. They ran the play anyhow, and for that reason, they didn't succeed in making any yardage.
Atlanta 7, Green Bay nothing. First period. Bartkowski, 9-yard pass to Jenkins. Our first score of the day. 2nd down 10. Tampa Bay on their own 35. Scoreless game here. Williams fires, complete to Giles at tight end. You were right, Mr. Scram. Giles, the last 2 games, I don't think has even caught a pass. They've used him mostly for blocking, but they've already gone to him twice today.
Yes, he's only caught 6 passes going into this game. He's already caught 2 already in this one so far. But he's a tremendous athlete. Great speed, great hands, excellent blockers, I mentioned earlier. And they're going to use him and feature here, I'm sure, the way this defense is set up. They'll be using him a lot in this game.
They're taking what the Giants will give them. 2nd down, or 1st down 10. Tampa Bay in the New York 48.
See if they run right.
They did. That's Ricky Bell. Bell over the 50 to the 49 of the Giants. Ricky Bell's having his best year. This is his 3rd with Tampa Bay because he now has Eckwood to complement him. That makes Bell a better fullback. The other fella, Eckwood, can go wide. Opens the middle up a little bit for him. Plus, Bell is a tremendous blocker and does a lot of lead blocking for Eckwood.
The one thing about the I formation, usually the fullback is more of a blocker than he is a runner. Now they have an outside-inside tandem that's very dangerous, and that's an outstanding dimension.
Second down, 6. Tampa Bay in the Giant 48. Play action pass. He throws it deep down the middle, and it is incomplete. Racing down there was Morris Owens of Arizona State, who has averaged 19 yards a catch. McKay says, I don't like to dump the ball off to the backs in those little passes. I'm a big play man, and I want a big play quarterback. And Doug Williams has the arm to give me those big plays.
Well, the way you get big plays in professional football is to have a very outstanding running game, and then conjunction with that, throw play-action passes. That's exactly that was. And he elected to throw the ball into the post that time. Jimmy Giles, the tight end, was so open he looked like he ran out of the bleachers, but he didn't see him and didn't look to him and try to get the ball into the post instead.
Third down, 6. Tampa Bay on the New York 48. Williams sets up. And that pass was behind the rookie Gordon Jones, who is breaking into the middle, and Tampa Bay comes up short with a 4th and 6 now. Tom Blanchard will be back in a punt formation. He's averaged 38.5 yards a kick, no blocks. And by the way, he's the oldest player on the Tampa Bay team. He is 30 years old.
The reason that play didn't succeed, Gordon Jones, the young receiver, drifted on the curl-in pattern. Instead of staying put, he drifted to the inside. The ball was thrown behind him, and for that reason, they didn't connect on the play.
Blanchard lofts it up. Fair catch call on the Giant 8-yard line. Some of the fans didn't like that. They thought he had running room. Terry Jackson. They wanted to see a run back. So the Giants take over, pin back against their own goal line with a score, 0-0. That's the lineup tomorrow night on CBS. Incidentally, the 13th Annual Country Music Association Award will be hosted by Kenny Rogers. White Shadow, MASH, and the Country Show on CBS Monday night. First down, New York Giants, their own 8-yard line. Billy Taylor, Ken Johnson, the running back. Behind rookie Phil Simms. Simms off to Taylor. Taylor over the 10. Maybe to the 12-yard line. Wally Chambers has left the game for Tampa Bay. Bill Kohler goes to left end. And Randy Crowder, ex of Penn State, is now in at nose tackle. It is second down. 6 to go. Giants ball their own 12. Scoreless game. 5:45 to play in the first period. Gray and Perkins are the wide receivers. A rollout. We got the passing. Nice control out to Ken Johnson, number 48. Giants using a short passing game, much like we saw last week Joe Theismann executed with the Washington Redskins.
Yes, but he at that time he rolled out to his right. He was very careful. He flooded the zone, which means you put 3 receivers on the same side with 2 defensive people covering. He hit Johnson on the right flat. Johnson looked like he might have gotten a little bit more up the sideline, but ran out of bounds after he made the reception. It's third down.
Bill Simms, 3 for 3. Third down. 3 to go. Giants from their 15. They have a slot left for the first time. In motion is Billy Taylor. Ken Johnson. They hit him and knocked him down. There was an excellent charge by David Lewis, number 57. The left outside linebacker, who McKay says is the best in his position.
They sent Taylor in motion, trying to disjoint the force, but didn't do a good job in moving people. David Lewis, 57, really did a great job of coming up and making the play on the ball carrier that time, and lost yardage on the play.
All right, the punter will be Dave Jennings, second in the National Conference. Danny Reese is the safety man, number 46. And there's a kick. Coming down to Reese on his 43, escaped to the 45, to the 50. Reese is stopped at the 48 of the Giants. Well, Tampa Bay's ball in New York Giant territory. 4:42 to play in the first period, and we still have no score. Doug Williams brings him up. By the way, he's been sacked only once this year. Outstanding protection. The youngster, as a starting quarterback, has won 9 and lost 4 for Tampa Bay. Had a broken jaw last year. Ricky Bell. Bell is banged down at the 47 of the Giants by Harry Carson, the middle linebacker. A 1-yard gain. Tampa Bay, 2nd and 9. Dan Lloyd also helped Carson, number 54. Tampa Bay, for the first time this year, did not start the same 22 men. Just before the game, Dewey Selman was announced to the bench, and Aaron Brown started as left linebacker. That's the first time they haven't started the same units in offense and defense. The release is complete to number 30, to the 39 to Giles, a tight end. That's 3 he's caught. Did you notice the quick release by Doug Williams? He waits and waits, and then quick, the ball's gone.
Yeah, he doesn't have to rely on using his legs at all. He's got such a great arm. That time, his feet were parallel when he threw the football, but he got it to Giles. It was a high percentage pass, short, but very important to keep the drive alive.
And the Eagles lead Washington 7-0. The 2 tight ends are in. Giles, Obradovich. 3rd down, a yard to go. Tampa Bay on the Giant 39. Eckwood gets the call, and it's going to be close. He's piled up by Dan Lloyd, number 54. George Martin was in there. Also Kelvin Miller, number 76.
Eckwood really didn't slam in there tough with a lot of abandon that time. It looked like he was trying to pick his way. And in that kind of situation, you got to make a decision and lower the shoulders and put the head in there and make the yardage.
Well, they've got a man in there now they think can get the yardage. Johnny Davis of Alabama, number 38, replaces Gary Eckwood. Tampa Bay going for it. 4th and 1 on the New York Giant 39. Well, they give the ball to Ricky Bell. And there's the scramble.
It's going to be very close, and I don't think he made it, Kurt.
They look to the sticks. Harry Carson, submarine. The Giants hold on 2 plays. They stop Tampa Bay twice in a row, short of the first down, and the Giants will take over on their own 39-yard line. John McKay with a sloppy hat was not too happy about that one. And the Giants, the little open room now. They were pinned back against their own goal line. Phil Simms comes out. Simms wasn't even recruited highly when he went to Morehead State. And here he is starting now as a rookie in the National Football League.
The Giants got a lot of criticism for drafting him, Kurt, but I think he's going to wind up being an excellent quarterback.
Perkins in motion. Simms gives the ball to Billy Taylor. Taylor at the 40, runs to the 45. Good run by him. He's down to the 47-yard line. And he's hit by Mark Cotney, the strong safety from Cameron State, Oklahoma.
That's one thing that's normally very difficult to do against Tampa, to line up on the left side of the ball with the left halfback and run all the way across the ball on an outside play and make yardage, but they did a good job of containing people and cutting off people, and for that reason they were able to make a nice chunk of 8 yards on the play.
Roy Simmons is in at guard, replacing J.T. Turner. 2nd down, 2. Giants on their 47. We may have the first down. Ken Johnson, University of Miami of Florida, rookie, has the first down just short of the 50-yard line. Richard Wood, number 54, the inside linebacker, made the tackle. He was the first USC 3-time All-American. He was with the Jets. Now he's wound up under his old coach McKay and is playing excellent linebacker. First down, 50-yard line. New York in possession. 1:34 to go in the first period. No score. Tampa Bay with a 4.5-point favorite on a visiting field. Simms will unload it. It is complete to Shirk, the tight end. Gary Shirk, number 87.
He just goes right back into the pocket. Another very high percentage pass. Throws it right in the middle area between the linebackers. Gary Shirt, the tight end, number 87, makes the reception. And again, it's a small game, but it's a very important game because you have to make first downs before you're going to make touchdowns in this kind of a context.
Atlanta leading Green Bay 10-0 first period. Sims is 4 for 4. They've all been short ones. Little hole for Taylor, 30. Inside the 20. They had the hole inside the tackles. Billy Taylor raced and Mark Cotney had to drag him down from behind.
That was somewhat of a counter play. They fake to the fullback, give it to the halfback, Billy Taylor. Good blocking at the point of attack. Taylor does an excellent job of running right for the goalpost. He's finally knocked down, but he makes a big gain on the play.
You haven't seen that much this year, an opening like that in Tampa Bay's front seven.
But here again, you have to run up the middle if you're going to be successful against the 3-4 defense.
That's the longest run of the season from scrimmage for the Giants, 27 yards. Taylor again, 15, 10, 5, and he's down to the 3-yard line. First and goal to go for the Giants. 2 sizzling runs in a row for Billy Taylor from Texas Tech, number 4 pick last year. And that's the end of the first quarter, and the Giants fans